You look so beautiful tonight. Hard to believe you're here with me. And if you look deep into my eyes, you'll find the greatest love you've ever seen. And marry you 1,000 times again. I don't want this feeling ever to end. Take me to anywhere, as long as you're there. I'll give up everything just to show you I care. 'Cause you look so beautiful tonight. Hard to believe you're here with me. And if you look deep into my eyes, you'll find the greatest love you've ever seen. And I'd marry you 1,000 times again. 'Cause I don't want this feeling ever to end. I feel like I'm Superman when I'm by your side. I can be your Superman, or just a regular guy. 'Cause you look so beautiful tonight. Hard to believe you're here with me. And if you look deep into my eyes, you'll find the greatest love you've ever seen. And marry you 1,000 times again. 'Cause I don't want this feeling ever to end. You look so beautiful tonight. Hard to believe you're here with me. And if you look deep into my eyes, you'll find the greatest love you've ever seen. And I'd marry you 1,000 times again. 'Cause I don't want this feeling ever to end.
Hello and welcome to A Cup of Conversation on BRT2TV. A great start to the show this week, and you've guessed it, we have music on the programme, and my guest in the studios of BRTK is musician, singer, songwriter Dominic Holmes. So first of all, Dominic, welcome to the programme.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here at Baidag, and I hope that you are having a good time so far in the studios of BRTK.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here.
Now, thank you for joining us here in the studios. Before we talk more about your music, let's find out more about you, because I'm sure you have lots of followers out there who know or have heard of you now performing around local creations here in the TRNC. I know you're based in Saint-Tropez, but let's find out more about you. Dominic, you are from the UK. What part of the UK are you from?
Wimbledon, London, originally, yeah.
A London boy,
yeah,
originally.
I'm a London boy, yeah.
Although I hear you speaking off air that you've actually been around the world for many, many years, haven't you? So
yeah. Well, I left the UK when I was just turning 14 and moved to Hong Kong. So Hong Kong still sort of considered my home, because I was my teenage years were in Hong Kong. So all my sort of major growing up was done in Hong Kong, I suppose. Went to school there, and various bands and that sort of stuff. And then moved from there to South Africa. After 12 years in Hong Kong, moved to South Africa for 18 years. So even though I was in South Africa for quite a long time, Hong Kong, I suppose, is still my home. And my mum and some of my family still, my mother and my stepfather and one of my sisters still live in Hong Kong. So,
an unusual place to grow up, I suppose. From
very
the UK.
exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I suppose that, you know, they say New York never sleeps, you know, and Hong Kong certainly doesn't. You know, it's a 24-hour, 24/7 city, and it is very exciting as a teenager. You know, and it's a very safe place to live as well. Unlike South Africa, I could probably say, but Hong Kong is good.
Fantastic. So from London to Hong Kong, South Africa, and here you are now on the island of Cyprus.
Yep.
How many years have you been here? How long has it been since you arrived?
2013, April 2013, we got to Cyprus. Yeah.
Right, so just about 4 years now.
Yeah, not too long.
Very good. I'm going to ask you about how you got here, but before that, you are a great musician. I've heard you sing. I had the pleasure of hearing you at a recent event that we were both attending, where you were performing, and I was there as a compere that night. Yep. And I have to say, you are fantastic.
Thank you.
Even the guy who hired you before, we were talking, when we had a meeting about the event before, he said, I've heard Dominic, great versatile singer, great entertainer, and I thought, okay, well, it sounds good, sounds interesting. But seriously, I was amazed that Dominic was on stage and in the first set singing a variety of songs from Elvis to playing acoustic guitar, Apache, we all know that. I'm not going to sing, I'm not going to even attempt to do the chords. And then from that to, and I was amazed, I have to say, that from Apache to Human by Rag and Bone Man, what a transformation that was. I never expected in a million years for you to sing Rag and Bone Man Human. But when did you start playing the guitar and get interested in music?
Well, I suppose it's sort of my mother's to blame, because I suppose she had a thing about musicians. It's my real father is a singer and a guitar player, but it was my stepfather who actually taught me to play guitar. My stepfather came on the scene when I was, I think, 6 years old, and he played guitar and harmonica and he could sing. So when I was 7 years old, he started to teach me guitar and to sing with it as well. So yeah, I've been doing that for quite a long time now. Yeah.
So was that always on the cards? I mean, when you learned the guitar and you started singing, did you say, this is my life now, this is what I want to do?
No, certainly not. I mean, I always enjoyed doing it. And I think I always had this feeling when I was younger, maybe when I was sort of early teenager, that I never wanted to be sort of in the limelight as far as being a rock star or anything like that. I never had dreams of being a great big celebrity, being a singer or anything like that. Just because I thought it was a tough, even though it was exciting, I thought it would be, they would say it's tough at the top and all that sort of stuff. I hadn't actually got there, but I was already telling myself, no, I don't want to be there. Because I thought it was, and apart from the fact, I always have been, and I am still very critical of myself. To me, and it goes back to when I was I used to do martial arts when I was a youngster as well, and my sensei back then said, you've got to be careful because there's always someone better around the corner. And I took that with my music as well. There's always someone better. When someone says to me, when they hear me at one of my gigs here, oh, you're the best we've ever heard, or whatever they'll say to me, I say, well, have you heard everybody? I mean, have you really heard everybody on the island of Cyprus? Yeah. And you never take it for granted, or at least I don't, because the next greatest thing could arrive on the island tomorrow, and they may blow everybody away. And so I never had a dream of being famous or being, that sort of star. I suppose now that I'm older, I'm sort of settling into writing my own stuff a bit more, and it would be quite nice, I mean, it would be nice to have my own stuff played on the radio, and, not that I want to be famous with it, but it'd be nice to, oh, that's me, and it'd be quite nice. But hey, if it happens, it happens.
Because as a singer, entertainer, performer, I suppose, I mean, when I saw the first set at your recent gig, it was obviously covers of things that we all know and love, but the variety was amazing, and your voice changed with the singer that you were singing from? I mean, from Elvis to like I said, Rag and Bone Man.
Yeah.
I mean, and you actually sound, not that you are imitating them, but you know, you get into that style, because I mean, you know, they're very distinctive, you know, two very different sounds, but you went into Elvis and you went into Rag and Bone Man as well at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that something that, you know, you have a very good ear for music, obviously, and you know, who were your influences when you were growing up then, when you were first learning to sing and play the guitar?
Well, quite a few. I mean, the Eagles have always been my heroes, my ultimate favorite band. You know, I mean, and those are sort of, from a songwriting point of view, I've always liked the Eagles, Don Henley's songwriting. For phrasing, you know, there's nobody really better than Frank Sinatra. Although, I mean, when I went to, I stayed at my grandparents' place in the UK, which I used to sort of visit every few weeks, and I went through my grandfather's record collection, and I found an old record of Joe Cocker. And I had to listen to that, and I'd never heard of Joe Cocker before. I mean, I was a teenager, and I put this on, and I thought, wow, this is great, and very gravelly, sort of rough soul voice for an English guy, for a white guy as well. I thought, this is amazing. You know, but because I like a lot of soul stuff as well. You know, people like Marvin Gaye and Barry White and James Brown. I mean, he's the godfather of soul. You know, it's fantastic. So I like a lot of that sort of stuff. But the imitating thing, when I was in South Africa, I sang a Neil Diamond song, and in the bar that I sang it, the brother of the owner listened to it, and he came to me afterwards, "Oh, you sound just like Neil Diamond." And I wasn't particularly trying to sound like Neil Diamond. But I thought to myself, okay, well, I mean, he likes it. I'll try it a bit more to sound a bit more like Neil Diamond. So I had a quick listen, and found that I could imitate it a bit more. You know, the American thing, I suppose most singers, even English singers, they can put on the American voice for American singers. Hong Kong, I suppose, was a bit of a help for me, because you may or may not know that Hong Kong is quite Americanized. All their TV presenters, they're Chinese, but they speak with an American accent. My English teacher in my German school in Hong Kong was American.
So it was American twang.
Yeah, so everything you spoke was an American. So consequently, even now when I speak what I refer to as English, is not maybe the English that a lot of English people think of. I will say words like, I won't necessarily say things like water. I won't pronounce it too exactly. I'll say water, you know, and maybe that's sort of the American coming through a bit more. And so imitating singers that have got like country singers. I love country music, Garth Brooks and people like that. And so I'll imitate that a lot. You know, Rag and Bone Man. You know, I mean, it's not too difficult to imitate it, to me anyway.
But it's the styles that vary quite a lot throughout the set that you're doing, which amazes me, because when you think about performers here, especially here in North Cyprus, you think about, you know, okay, they are, you know, a singer can be versatile, can sing in different styles, but normally the person, the entertainer, the musician himself or herself chooses a style that they are close to, and it could be, I don't know, soul, it could be jazz, it could be country, it could be rock and roll. And they sort of stick to that, or they excel in that. But you seem like, you know, somebody who's comfortable in every single genre of music, which is quite unusual, but very entertaining as well, because then you don't really set yourself in one style, and it's not very, you know, it doesn't become stale or boring. You know, wow, you know, from Apache to Rag and Bone Man to Elvis to whatever, you know, it's there. And you know, if someone said to you, "Can I request this song?" you can maybe go and learn it, and the next time that you're performing, there you are.
Well, you know, there's a couple of different things. The one thing is to try and please as many people as possible. I can't please everybody. Someone said the route to failure is to try and please everybody. So you can't please everybody, but you can try and do as good as you can. So I do try and please as many people as possible. So I try and put stuff in there for people who like guitar stuff, who like to see electric guitar sort of stuff, like things like Eric Clapton or Gary Moore or Dire Straits, Pink Floyd, that sort of thing. They want to hear a guitar song. And then you've got people that like the crooning music, like the Frank Sinatra, maybe even Michael Bublé, a bit of Dean Martin maybe. And I want to maybe please the people that like country music. And then of course, I don't want to just appeal to the older generation. I want to try and pull the younger people in as well. So I've got to do things like Ed Sheeran, Rag and Bone Man, Shaggy. I've been imitating Shaggy since, I don't know, maybe since 96, 97. That's probably one of my more famous party tricks. But I think the singers that only do one artist or one genre, that's absolutely fine. There's no problem with that. I do think also for me it's a challenge vocally, because I consider myself more of a singer than a guitar player, as you may have noticed. But to me, vocally, it's a challenge to try and sing like a particular artist, someone I respect as a singer. And then every time I listen to the song again on the radio, I'll hear something that the artist has done that I didn't pick up the first time. It's like watching a movie a few times over. You miss something the first time. Yeah. It's like, I must try that next time I sing the song. I'll put that little blemish, little sort of thing in there that he does with his voice. Sort of, and then just add that in there, and it sounds a little bit more like the artist then, Yeah. But it's more of a challenge to me, and it makes it more interesting for me as well as the audience to not always sound like one person,
Of course, you have to be, different to get the crowds in, I suppose. You can't always be the same as everyone else or be the same every week. It's got to be a different Dominic every time. If you have regular, obviously the regulars want to see you and they enjoy coming to your shows or performances. But again, you have to add that little bit of extra to challenge yourself as well.
That's right. Yeah. The regulars like to hear their favourites, of course. I mean, you may get accused of always doing the same thing in a particular restaurant, but the way I work is I work on song requests. I'll sing what people want me to sing based on. I have a song request sheet that I hand out, that my wife actually hands out, and then based on that, they choose what they want me to sing. So generally, every gig is usually different, but if I'm singing in one place every week, the same place, you get a following of the same people that come to that restaurant or bar, and inevitably they want to hear their favorite song. So inevitably they'll always request the same songs. Yeah. So I'll always do this song or I'll always do that song, and so it's because that's what they want to hear. And that's fine. I mean, like I said, I'm trying to keep the people happy. And make them enjoy their evening or their day or whatever.
I'm sure you do keep them happy. In fact, let's take another break. We'll come back after another song and we'll find out more about Dominic's life here in the TRNC, and also about songwriting, and also about where you can get his music and where to find him. Because I'm sure after listening to Dominic, you want to see him live. You should never miss out on seeing Dominic live here in North Cyprus. So, Dominic, are you ready for another song now? Should we take another music break with your guitar?
Yeah, sure.
And sit back and relax and enjoy my couple conversation with Dominic Holmes.
Right, this is the song that I wrote when we had a power cut.
As we do often.
As we do, and we had no lights anywhere in the village, and my wife and I were in the heat. We had to go outside on the balcony and lay on a couple of deck chairs in the middle of the night because it was just too hot in the room inside the house. And then we had loads and loads of stars in the sky, and it was very romantic as well. And my wife is my muse for most of my songs. So this is called "Heaven's in Your Eyes," and goes like this. Hopefully, I'll remember the words. Lying underneath the night sky, a billion stars are looking down, so peaceful underneath this night sky. Our beating heart's the only sound. If anyone tried to tell me that this is how it really feels, I could never have imagined, and I would never have believed. Can we stay like this forever? 'Cause there's nothing I would change, as long as we're together, as long as love remains. And if this world should start to crumble, I will never leave your side, 'cause home is in your arms and heaven's in your eyes. Some people seem to search forever. I thought that I would do the same, walking with the lost and lonely. We always find someone to blame. If anyone would try to tell me that this is how it really feels, I could never have imagined, I would never have believed. Can we stay like this forever? 'Cause there's nothing I would change, as long as we're together, as long as love remains. And if this world should start to crumble, I will never leave your side, 'cause home is in your arms and heaven's in your eyes. 'Cause home is in your arms and heaven's in your eyes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Dominic. And what a lucky lady your wife, Jan, is. I'm sure the ladies out there are jealous that they are not your muse, but your lovely wife, Jan, is also sitting in the wings watching and filming as we speak now. Lucky Jan, what a lovely lady she is as well. And what a lucky guy you are to have such a wonderful muse. Yes, my guest this week on the programme is Dominic Holmes. We heard another track from him. You are also, as you just proven, a songwriter as well. So it's not just covers of all the songs that we know. It's not just going out there and belting out the songs that, you know, karaoke style that we all do, but in a professional way. You're actually a songwriter. So have you, I know that on YouTube, there are a couple of tracks out there, aren't there? But have you had any, I mean, have you got any ambitions to actually release a song officially?
Yeah, well, I mean, the one song that I wrote as a wedding gift, actually, for Jan, not this Jan, my Jan, in 2013. That one has actually been officially released, so you can actually sort of buy it on wherever the various online stores that you can get. That was released on January the 1st, actually, of this year, and I have a record label. It was actually based in Belgium. Glowworm Records is the record label. The chap that produced the track, and who's actually producing the next one as well, is a chap called Adir Kalona, and he lives in Israel. So it's very, very international. The good thing about the internet is that it sort of loses all the geography, the distance. You can sort of go anywhere, really. So he's sitting in Israel, and he produces the tracks for me. And then between him and the partner in Glowworm Records and myself, we decide on how it should go, what sort of form it should take, and what needs to be changed. And so I've written, say maybe 8 to 10 tracks, something like that. I've got to write a few more tracks, and we're sort of hoping to release an original album maybe towards the end of the year. We'll see how things go. The next one will hopefully be released maybe in another month or so, maybe less. So
are you Mr. Romantic then? Because the tracks that you obviously, you know, your wife inspires you, and so the inspiration means romance and love. And we've heard a couple of, you know, quite beautiful love songs. Are you Mr. Romantic?
Yeah,
do you think
well,
yourself?
I think if I said I was, I think my wife would be rolling her eyes or chuckling in the corner there. I think I know what you need to do to be romantic, but I probably fail dismally in being romantic. I suppose we're all capable of it. It's whether we, as husbands or partners, boyfriends, whether we put in enough effort to be romantic on the level that our partners would wish we were.
Yeah.
So there's always room for improvement, you know.
Room for improvement. I think
Definitely.
Jan could not want anything more than a love song dedicated to her. You know, she inspired. I think that is the most romantic thing that anyone could do for their partner, to write a love song for them, about them. So thank you for sharing your music with us.
Yeah.
Let's get back to coming to the island of Cyprus. So, I mean, you know, London, Hong Kong, South Africa, and now Cyprus. What brought you to Cyprus? How did you end up on this island?
Well, again, I suppose that's my wife's fault.
Blame Jan.
Blame Jan. When I left South Africa, I moved to the UK to be with Jan on Anglesey, North Wales. And when I originally left the UK, from Hong Kong and South Africa, I was always in a climate where there was a lot more sun than in the UK. And you probably know it's not difficult to be anywhere that has less rain than the UK. And I'm not trying to put the UK down. It has some great points, but the weather is not one of them. So I've always thought to myself, I don't really ever want to go and live in that sort of climate again. Mm-hmm. You know, if the UK suddenly becomes tropical with, you know, with all the global warming and everything, maybe it'll become a tropical place in the future. I don't know. I mean, move back to the UK. No. At the moment, it's not. When I was living in the UK with Jan, we were thinking of where to go for a holiday, and Jan had been here for maybe coming here for 15 years on holiday with her family at the time, and I'd never been. So when we were thinking about where should we go on holiday, Jan said, well, do you want to go to Cyprus? I love it in Cyprus. You've never been. Maybe you'd like it there too. So we went here on holiday, and I loved it. I thought that, you know, the weather's perfect. It's just such a lovely place, and the Mediterranean is just such a lovely destination anyway. And so then we thought about, what would it be like to live here? I suppose the great thing for most entertainers is that you can go anywhere where people want to be entertained, you know, and you don't need a lot. You know, there's other professions that you do in the UK that they don't exist, the job doesn't exist here, or the pay is too low that you wouldn't consider doing the job in Cyprus. Whereas an entertainer, you know, a singer, guitarist, you can do that pretty much anywhere. So we tried it out, and you know, I went around a few places, restaurants and bars, and it was slow to start with, but you know, it didn't take too long to pick up, and enough singing work coming in to actually keep us going and allow us to live in this great place. You know, and it's really nice here. We love it. I'm
so glad it's working out. So you are based in Esentepe. You have your
That's
house
right.
there. As you said, you were up in the, watching the stars on
yes.
And on a night where there was no electricity. So you are in Esentepe. And have you got regular gigs at the moment now? Are you at certain places at certain times of the week? Or is it...
I have, there is certain, when I say I've got one venue that is sort of bi-weekly, where I play every other Wednesday, sorry. Others that are sort of not necessarily on a particular day, but they've booked a bunch of gigs throughout the year. But not that I can say that I'm every Thursday this venue or every Tuesday this venue. The problem that I found is that a lot of venues, they wait until the season starts to then start booking entertainment.
Yeah.
And the problem is that if you wait that long, then dates that you want are gone. You know, that's what I found anyway. I'll book, and then they say, oh, well, okay, now remember I spoke to you about you coming to do Thursdays for me. I said, well, that was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
That Thursday's gone now.
Yeah.
So maybe next year you'll speak to me a bit earlier and book those dates earlier. So that's what happened before as well, that people would wait and then it takes a year for them to realize, oh, we better book early so that we can get in there and do every Thursday or every Tuesday, every Wednesday, whatever you want.
Yeah.
You have more available to you if you book early. But there's definitely, I mean, there's very few days now in the week that I don't have a gig, you know.
How have you found the response from the local public here? You know, when because obviously you're quite a new name on the circuit now for us.
Yeah.
I only heard about you via the gig that we were at together recently. And like I said, I thought you were fantastic, a great variety of music, not just one style, the voice, chameleon-like voice, goes into every style, every singer that he sings. Not that it's an imitation, but you know, that's how talented Dominic is. So now that you are becoming more well-known here, and Jan, your wife, was saying off-air as you were getting ready that people at that last gig, they were there, you know, friendly faces that you'd seen before, who follow you around now, who are knowing where, you know, your talent and following you. Yeah. Is that how it is now? Are you getting more and more people coming to watch you?
I think people always like to see something new for a start. So when you're sort of the new kid on the block, they like to come and see you know, whether you're any good, and maybe you just play a different style to the other entertainers that are here, because there's some great entertainers up here. You know, maybe I just do something different to them. That's all. Or maybe they like the way that I sing. You know, I'm not a big fan of doing the tribute thing. I mean, I confess I have done a Neil Diamond tribute a few times, where I've even dressed up in black. But I don't do the whole dressing up like a particular artist as a rule, and then singing like them. I'll imitate the voices, like you say.
Yeah.
And I put a lot of effort into my singing. I mean, I do have vocal coaching and that sort of thing. So I try, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to that. I love my sound to be great. So I like my equipment to be good. My speakers, I like very good quality stuff. Because, like I said, I'm very critical of myself. I'm also very critical of others. If I go and listen to another entertainer, it's not a very good thing that I do. But then I look at them and think, well, you know, the sound's terrible, or you know, the speakers are cheap, or you know, the voice is not bad, but they're not doing themselves any favors because they're using cheap equipment.
Yeah.
But I also understand, because I was there at one point too. When you can't afford to buy the best speakers that there are, so then you have to make do with what you've got. But you know. But it's nice that people are coming. It's nice to see regular faces at different gigs, you know, and you know, it's just nice to get a bit of a following.
I'm sure you will get a lot of a following after, you know, people hearing you on the radio and television now. Which comes to the fact that you actually do travel around, because when you're saying about speakers and equipment, you have all your stuff that you want specifically, don't you?
That's right. Yeah.
Obviously, yes, if there are some speakers or professional sound systems somewhere and you know that they're good, then you'll use that. But you also do have, you know, your own, you know, mobile.
Yeah.
Very easy to travel around anywhere on the island.
That's right. Yeah.
For any gig.
Yep.
You're willing to take.
You got to have your own equipment, and I suppose that's one of the problems with the maybe with the younger entertainers who don't have the ability to have their own equipment. It forces them to be tied in with a particular agency who will then provide them with the equipment, and then maybe they don't get the best deal if they're working for an agent. My agent is my wife, so I don't need it, and I have all my own equipment. So we're able to be independent like that, as are a couple of the other entertainers that I've met on the island. That's really the only way. The only way to be really is to have your own equipment, be able to go wherever you want to go, and like you said, if there's a venue that you're going to that, you know, it's not so convenient to take your own equipment. If they've got their own equipment and it's decent and the quality is good, there's nothing wrong with using their equipment. You know, I'm quite fine with it. It saves me from carrying things. So,
yeah.
You know.
But you have all the stuff that you need, so you can travel around the islands.
Yeah.
And I know that you're going to have a great big following.
Thank you.
Why I said Mr. Romantic, because you have actually brought in Dominic Holmes, She Loves Me, and this is a cover of some very, very romantic love songs.
Yes.
And looking very, very dashing.
Do you know where that's taken?
Where?
And I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong, but it's the Belle Abbey.
Wow.
That behind me there is the archway that's in fact. You can see my wife on that one.
Yes, she's in the background.
She's right in the background there.
Very nice.
But it's coming through that archway of roses and leaves. That's that you see at the Bella. That's me walking through there, and so and I think at the back there as well. There's the view is from the Belle Abbey as well. We just thought it was a great setting. I mean, it's such a beautiful place.
It is a great setting.
And very romantic setting. So.
And we've got covers of things like Wicked Game, Thinking Out Loud. Fields of Gold, Have I Told You Lately, Hello. I mean, all the songs that everyone loves. And you said to me that this CD is available at your gigs. So if anyone wants to get this CD, they can get it at your gigs. You have a few copies with you.
Yeah, all the time.
And I'm sure that the people are going to rush up to get this CD. But you were saying earlier on that your own original music, maybe you produce a CD later on in the year.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, you know, it all depends on how long it takes to produce the songs. You know, I mean, you probably know a lot of the sort of big names that you know. Sometimes it can take a couple of years to produce an album, just because they put a lot of effort into each track. Of course, the artist has to write the track to start with. Not everybody has, you know, pages and pages of songs they've written. I know people like Ed Sheeran. I think he's probably got a book full of 100 songs that we've never even heard yet.
Yeah. Myself,
I'm very much a novice songwriter, so for me, it's not easy to write songs. Certainly a struggle. It's hard work, but you know, managed to do them. And if I can get enough songs together by the time we want to release the album, then that's great. Then we can hopefully release it by December.
What's something to look forward to? Something good to think about for this year. And I'm sure that maybe whilst you're living here in North Cyprus, you'll be inspired by the tranquility, the beauty of the island, the beauty of Jan by your side as well. So who knows? You might, you know, get some more inspiration to complete an album of music. I will look forward to hearing some original stuff, because you know what you played just earlier on for Jan. I mean, you know, when you were lying up on in your house looking at the stars, and that was a fantastic song. You know, it could be. I thought it could be a cover of something more, you know, more well known, but it was brilliant. So I'm looking forward to an original CD, Dominic. You must do it. You must finish that CD.
I will try just for you, Jan.
Please do.
I'll do that.
So as you said about the beginning of the season, now we are coming towards the new summer season here in North Cyprus. So you must probably already have some great regular things. Is it too late to? How can we follow you where you are, where you're going to be? I mean, are you on the internet? Do you have a website?
Facebook is probably the easiest. That's probably the easiest way, that sort of through social media is the easiest way to find me. Look for me on Facebook.
So just under Dominic Holmes, or do you have another page?
Well, if you go to for the sort of more internet savvy or computer savvy people of you, it's facebook.com/Dominic Musician. One word, Dominic Musician, after the facebook.com/. That's probably the easiest thing. Or even just look for Dominic Holmes on Facebook. I know there's probably a couple of Dominic Holmes. There are on YouTube a few Dominic Holmeses. But Facebook, there's probably not too many. But you can find, I mean, now that you know what I look like, you can probably find the right picture. Yeah, there's my personal page, and there's a Facebook fan page as well. Obviously, it's preferable to go onto my fan page. But either one, it doesn't really matter.
And so on that fan page, for instance, do you actually say where you are, where you're going to be performing?
And again, Jan, my wife, does pretty much all the admin on my Facebook fan page. You can send Jan messages on there about, you know, booking me and that sort of thing. All the brides, I do a lot of weddings. All the brides will contact Jan through Facebook, through my fan page, and she'll do all that. She'll post all my gigs on there, and post my gigs on the various venues to say that I'm performing in this particular venue. I'm now licensed with Accord Entertainment, which is a local company here, run by Gavin and Alan. you probably know. So I'm part of their company now.
Right.
So they've also got a Facebook page called Accord Entertainment. So you can see most of the entertainers on there. But that's probably the easiest way to find me, is on Facebook.
Well, I have to say that it's been a pleasure to have you here in the studio. Really interesting to find out about your past and now your happy life here, hopefully here in North Cyprus. We're lucky to have you here. I think you're a great entertainer. I've heard, I'm not just saying this now because he's in the studio, but I have heard Dominic live, and it is really, really a special treat to see him live. So if you do get the chance to go to one of his gigs in the near future, please do go along. And if you haven't already heard him, make it a first. I'm sure all the people out there who have heard him will go regularly, but we're going to get one more chance now to listen to Dominic. We're going to say goodbye with a track from you again, and I just want to say thank you very much for coming to BRTK to Lefkosia this morning and for joining us, and I hope that you have a good time here. Please let us know how things go.
I will.
Share your stuff on Facebook so that people can follow you this summer. I think you're going to have a very, very busy summer here on the island, so
thank you.
Good luck with all that, and good luck to Jan for fitting all the gigs in. She'll be doing all the hard work, getting all your gigs ready for you. But Dominic, good luck.
Thank you.
One more song from you as we say goodbye now. And we've come to the end of another couple of conversation. Don't forget, Dominic Holmes was my guest today. And if you see him out and about, he is the man to watch at the moment here on the island of Cyprus. Dominic, good luck.
Thank you.
And take it away, our final track.
All right, thank you. All right, this one is called The Reason Is You. Believe it or not, this one was also written about my wife. And it's a little, this is probably going to be the next song that will be released, so look out for this one. Walking down the avenue, thinking about me and you, and I just got a smile. 'Cause all the good that's in my life and everything that feels so right comes down to this. It ain't no mystery, at least not to me. One thing that I believe, you just got to believe. Now I ain't no holy man, I don't believe in no promised land, but you're an angel to me. Your eyes are like a sunny day, your arms are like a warm, safe place, and I won't let go. 'Cause this is where I belong, I know it's true. One thing that keeps me strong comes down to you. If I'm smiling, it's 'cause you're with me. Oh, the reason is you. And if I'm crying, it's 'cause you're leaving. Yeah, the reason is you. Yeah, it's you. I think about it every day. This feeling is here to stay, and that's fine with me. 'Cause life would be too much trouble, so don't you go and burst my bubble of happy days. I wouldn't change a thing, I'd have to be insane. You are my everything, that's why I just gotta sing. If I'm smiling, it's 'cause you're with me. Oh, the reason is you. And if I'm crying, it's 'cause you're leaving. Oh, the reason is you. And if I'm smiling, it's 'cause you're with me. Oh, the reason is you. if I'm crying, it's 'cause you're leaving. Yeah, the reason is you. Yeah, it's you. Yeah, it's you. You know it's true.